Here's the only thing I'm going to say positive. And guys, let me know if you're on board with this or if I'm freaking nuts. But the only positive thing I see in this whole entire game is Daniel Jones was so crappy that perhaps this speeds up the benching DJ process. Because I'm sorry, this game solidified. We cannot win with him. He's been really, and again, it's not all DJ's fault. I get it. It's not all his fault that he's at where he's at because this franchise has let him down for so many years. But at this point, it's done. It's over. Experiment failed. Horrendous. Bad.
I'm over the optimist usually, and just to say, like, if I'm usually the guy that defend the guy coming off the ACL injury, but he just looked awful. They talked during the game. They talked about his game where he changed his stance of more of a parallel, a square stance, which you don't put as much effort on your legs. That's why you do something like that. It comes more from your hips and your twist than when you do a staggered stance. So it should help that. Maybe the new stance may be messed up. I don't know. He just didn't look good whatsoever. But he ran the ball. So it's not like we can't use the excuse as ACL because like they purposely let him run the ball. He ran the ball on his own, go. So like you can't sit there and say my ACL is bad. Run the ball and say my ACL is bad. I can't throw the ball. Like, what is it? You should be running if that's the case.
Yeah. This is like absolutely freaking.
Hey, Dev, watch out with the beard comments.
This is absolutely ridiculous, though. It's like he didn't read anything in the defenses whatsoever. You guys wide open, he was missing. And when he even hit guys that were open, he didn't hit them in the proper spot, meaning like he didn't hit them in a way that let them go run the ball in stride. There's plenty of times he hit somebody and they had to go like this and go back to the ball at that point to try to catch it.
Or high. I mean, Grant, also the receivers, I think it was stat in early fourth quarter, we dropped 5-6 balls. So, 6-7 on the day, whatever it was. But even
some of those were not on him. Some of them honestly were not good balls that were difficult to catch because of him. Yeah, there's both in that. I'm not going to throw that all on him, but you cannot win with that kind of quarterback play. And guys, his stats look actually better than what they actually were. He ended up 22 of 42, 186 yards and 2 interceptions. That's crap. So when that looked better than what it actually was, that's bad because he had 55 yards until the Vikings started letting him take the easy passes because they were just trying to break down the clock.
Yeah, and let's be real. Like 2 years ago, we were praising for getting close to 200 yards because he had 2 touchdowns, not 2 interceptions, and he was winning ball games. But that's not the case.
You know who has 2 touchdowns now? Defenses against Daniel Jones. Because he's now thrown 2 pick sixes in 2 games, 4 interceptions. Like, that's bad, guys. That's really, really bad. And, you look at what he did, and these interceptions were so obvious it's not even funny. I mean, he literally threw the ball to Andrew Van Ginkel, who just ran the ball in stride right into the end zone. He was in stride, but if you, I was the only person he threw the ball in stride to.
I'm going to disagree.
I'm just saying, he's the only one he had set up for Yak. The interception was the best thrown ball he had. If only the guy was on our team.
Yeah,
like seriously, it's absolutely freaking insane, guys. Like I can't look at anything DJ did as good. And I know I heard a lot of people. So I went to a local bar to see the game. I thought I'd go out and go amongst the masses and see. I wanted to see people's reactions to what was going on here. It's a big game, obviously, for us. So I'll give them a little plug as at Sportscasters on East Bay and Largo for any Tampa Bay people here in the area. Good food, by the way. Food was very nicely seasoned. Yeah, it's very heavily seasoned tater tots and fries. I love heavily seasoned food. But we're looking for like anything positive. We're all flipping out. There's nothing positive about this damn game whatsoever. There's nothing. At least when it comes to Daniel Jones's play, we're going to try to nitpick and find some positive things later on. I don't want to be 100% negative, and it's going to be a very difficult part. But there are some things I can look at as being okay. But there's nothing about Daniel Jones that's okay, guys. Absolutely nothing. This is year 6. Year 6.
Yeah.
When you get outplayed by Sam Darnold, that's an issue, guys.
That's also probably the best that he's ever looked. Not to toot his own horn, because I watched him as a Jet. I watched him elsewhere, and
we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to. We'll get into that part of the middle later, but it's just at what point? Like, I want to hear from that Daniel Jones apologist. That's what I want to hear from. I want to hear the excuses. What's the excuses today? Is it the line? Is it the receivers?
His injury?
Is it Dable? Like, what's the excuse, Daniel Jones apologist? Because you know y'all are out there. Because anybody talk trash about Daniel Jones, and not that we're not supporting the guy. We want to support him. He's a Giant. We want him to succeed. At what point do we run out of excuses, guys?
Last year.
Seriously. I feel like there's no more excuse to be had, guys. Accept it. He's not a good quarterback. I'm not even sure I want him as a backup. That's how bad he played today. That's sad.
It's really funny you said it, because that's a caliber where I was ranking him. I was like, he should be that Drew Lock caliber backup.
And I'm not a fan of Drew Lock, but honestly, I was calling for Drew Lock to come in the second half. I'm not, like I said, I am not a big fan of Drew Lock. I'm telling you right now, next week, if I had my way, Tommy DeVito will be starting.
And he'll be serving everyone in a very nice penny of vodka sauce.
But that's where I'm at. That's how bad this was. Tommy DeVito, I think, would have done better. And that's not to say Tommy DeVito is a great quarterback. I'm not that guy. There's some people out there that think Tommy DeVito is going to be like all of a sudden a great quarterback. I don't think he is going to be. I think he could potentially develop into a good backup in this league. And this is our chance to find out what he is, because, guys, there's nothing else out there. Because I'll throw this out there. The only other option that I see out there as a possibility to bring in here from another team is Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to that. Like,
I'm not either.
Love or hate. I love to hate that guy and hate to love that guy at the same time.
Yes.
He's my favorite non-starting quarterback that I want to start all the time until he starts.
I'm telling you, though, there were people open up downfield that Daniel Jones just, I don't know if he just didn't see them or was afraid to throw the ball that deep.
That second pick in the end zone.
Yeah.
Who's he throw to? Who was Wandell, I think, and it was in double coverage. And you had Smith coming for the interception. It was in the third.
I should try to think who was. I can't remember who it was. He threw the second pick too, but there was like 4 people around him. Like, it was so obvious.
Smith, he was en route to go behind the receiver, but
Nabers
he changed and cut.
Nabers
was on a slant, but if you look, at the same time he released the ball, Nabers was open.
Yeah. Yep.
That's your brand. Like, I was literally watching it, and I was like, "That's your brand new toy," and you left it in the goddamn sandbox.
Yeah. Yep. And I hate to say it, but Dakota's right. He sees ghosts. Ghosts.
Zoinks.
Like, they're like, and this is why I say it as far as that. And again, I don't mean this to give him a cop out and give him an excuse, but we've ruined this kid. He sees people that aren't there, that are attacking him. He's like, 50,000 times bitten. Now he's shy. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, he's been hit how many times?
Listen, Sam Darnold, the Jets ruined that guy.
Yeah.
Same with Geno Smith.
I still question if he was good coming in, but I mean,
he looked good coming in today.
He didn't, but we'll get to that in a minute.
But what I was getting at is, like, we ruined him. But I think if he goes somewhere else, he sits behind, say he goes Kansas City as a backup. You sit there and let him learn behind. Not that he's learning behind Mahomes, but obviously he's one of the best. I'm just using him because
he's saying Daniel Jones as a backup.
Yeah, as a backup.
No, he's done.
Yeah, he's going to be a backup somewhere. He's going to be a backup somewhere. Absolutely. He's not a Giant. He's going to be a backup.
How many times did you see him escape a goddamn sack and then just run into somebody else to get sacked today?
It happened quite a bit. But
my dad was saying, I think he's colorblind. I think he just doesn't know what uniform he's wearing the wrong side. I mean, it's like insanity.
It was nuts.
Something makes no sense in that scenario. Like the one was the obvious play where the pass rusher went right unabated to him. He managed to step up and have the guy go behind him, and then he continues to go forward until he runs right into somebody on the team. It's like he was like, it's like if the guy went running off and he was running to go hug him. Like, what are you doing? Stop!
Love me.
Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, this is like regression for a guy who already didn't look good. Regression the last 2 years that just, whew. Guys, like this, I'm done. I am done. That's how pissed off I'm getting. Like, honestly, I'll tell you guys point blank, if it wasn't for the fact that we had this podcast, and I don't want to BS you guys and make it seem like I watched the game I didn't watch, I would have shut the goddamn thing off. I would have left the bar early, gone home, and done shit at the house. That's how pissed I was watching this game.
I would have done either that or hit the bottle.
I was at a bar. I'm not gonna lie. I had a couple, but I had to drive home, so I had a couple beers the first half, and that's it. But that bourbon was calling my name. It's like, hello, you're watching the
Uncle
Giants.
Jimmy.
Wouldn't you like some bourbon?
Uncle Jimmy, can you hear me?
I actually thought about having some before the show, but I was like, no, I'm gonna stay sober for this one.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.